Hello and welcome to Gold and Silver Assets. It's Sunday the 13th of September 2020 and actually it's been a year since starting this channel and it's been a really fascinating journey for me so far. I feel like I've learned quite a lot through doing this. I don't know about you, but my brain is a bit frazzled with all the heavy data and charts. So this week I thought we'd do something a little bit different, a little bit lighter, but still just as useful for investors. And this is a particular favourite topic of mine, and that's the topic of gold bullion jewellery. Now, I do know that over 95% of my viewers are male, and you probably think this won't be of interest to you, but don't switch off. There are potential benefits to you, honest. When it comes to gold jewellery, purity is really important. So the jewellery that you see in standard jewellery shops in the West is usually 18 karat gold or less. And that means that the gold content is less than 75%. When we talk about bullion jewellery, I'm referring to 22 or 24 karat gold. So that's high purity gold of 99.9% for the 24 carat and 91.7% for the 22 carat. There are quite a few advantages to buying bullion gold jewellery. Firstly, the colour is absolutely amazing. The photographs just don't do it justice. You've got to really see it in real life. It's got a real amazing glow to it. Unlike silver, it never tarnishes, and so it always looks fabulous. It's hypoallergenic, and for me that's a big deal. I can only wear gold or silver earrings, and anything else that basically makes my ears turn into red cauliflowers. And as a result, that means that it does make it a bit onerous for people who want to buy me earrings. But hey, that's the way life goes. It's not like I'm high maintenance or anything. And of course, if you're buying bullion jewellery, you've got to consider it as an investment. The high content of bullion jewellery is what makes it an investment. The other thing is that it's highly portable. And so you can take it across borders without having to declare it and be taxed on it. And at the end of the day, what I think is that gold is a form of money that speaks any language. So wherever you go, if you need to exchange it for something, I think you'll be hard pushed to find someone who refuses it. And of course, if all that wasn't enough, buying bullion jewellery may well earn you some brownie points with the ladies. The problem with high carat gold is that it does bend and scratch very easily. And here's an image showing some examples of bangles that have become warped with wear. And for this reason, if you're buying bullion jewellery for wearing purposes, then usually earrings or necklaces are best suited for this type of gold. Rings aren't great if you intend to wear them regularly because they will tend to bend out of shape and then become uncomfortable to wear and they won't look as good. Because they require much more workmanship to make than bars and coins do, their premium for these gold jewellery over spot is often quite high, often over 30% over spot. And this might sound a lot, but then it depends what you're comparing it to. If you compare bullion jewellery to standard relatively low carat jewellery, then you're actually getting a much better deal. So let's look at an example of a $500 ring for comparison. So if it's a 24 karat gold ring, then you're paying $385 for the gold and $115 for other costs such as manufacturing, design and operations and overheads. Whereas if you buy a low carat ring in a standard retail jewellery shop, then you're probably paying more like $115 for the gold content and $385 for the other costs. So I think bullion jewellery is therefore a much better investment if you're buying jewellery, and it will, because of its gold content, have a much better resale value. Where can you buy high carat bullion jewellery? In Western countries, there actually aren't many places that sell it. There are a couple of examples, such as goldandsilver.com or menet.com. And those are online sources of bullion jewellery. Some of the big cities in the Western countries do have Indian or Chinese jewellery shops, and they usually sell that, so you'd have to go into those kinds of areas. Alternatively, if you're travelling in the Middle East or Asia, then you'll easily find shops selling bullion jewellery. For example, Dubai has a whole area dedicated to selling gold, so that's called the gold souk. The styles you get will differ depending on the source that you get them from. So you tend to get more simple Western style jewellery on the online sources, whereas Indian jewellery tends to be very ornate. And again, the styles differ between India, Middle East and China. The other thing to remember is that the more complex the design, the higher the premium is going to be. You will want to try and negotiate the prices. Now, that's not going to be possible with the online sources, but if you do go to a physical shop, then make sure you take your negotiating skills with you. Of course, there are two components to the price of jewellery. So one component is the spot price of the gold content, and that's going to be fixed. You can't negotiate that. But then you've got the what's called the labour premium, or the making charge, and that is what can be negotiated down. Bullion bling comes in a range of forms, including some that are suitable for men as well, and there are lots of options. In terms of all of these, earrings will be the lowest cost, but if you're looking for something with a higher amount of gold in it in terms of ounces, then you're looking at things like a thick bangle or a thick and long necklace. Because pure gold is soft and malleable, the type of fastening is really important to consider, because what you don't want to do is to wear these things and end up losing them because of breakage. The ideal thing is to have no fastenings at all, and so that is possible for long necklaces or single piece bangles, because they tend to be much stronger. If you're looking at earrings, I very, very highly recommend using the screw fastenings, as they are very, very secure. And earrings are very easy to lose with the butterfly slipping off, when you change your clothes, for instance. And so this is really important. And if you're looking at short necklaces or bracelets, then the S-hook is usually quite good as well. You don't want anything with any complicated mechanisms, ideally, and so this is usually a simple and secure form of fastening. Look, bullion jewellery isn't necessarily something that's for everyone. However, I think it is worth considering if you are thinking about buying jewellery, because I think it's way better value than the lower carat stuff that you get in standard retail shops. And it also helps further your investment cause. Anyway, something to think about. Next week, we're going to be talking about ETFs, because we've had quite a lot of requests for that. Next up, the market update. Let's start by talking about gold priced in US dollars on the daily scale. And it's been a very ho-hum kind of week. Not very much has happened. And that's the nature of the markets. You know, there's some times where you can see a setup occurring and then everything all happens very quickly. And then there are times where not very much happens at all. And we're in one of those times at the moment. We've been talking about this upsloping trend line and we broke it previously. And if you notice, since breaking it, price has been unable to really kind of hold above it. It's tried a few times. So here we've got a very long wick compared to the body here. But again, there was a change in sentiment and price went back down again. The other thing to remember is we seem to be squeezing in price, so we're getting a triangle. The problem here is that it's very difficult to draw where the triangle trend lines are. I thought that this lower trend line here is reasonably accurate, but we were unable to draw the upper trend line, and I think that's still the case. It's not clear where that is, and that makes it very difficult to tell where the breakout's going to occur. I'm still thinking that the fact that we've broken this longer term trend line, which has gone back right and up until June, and the fact that it's been unable to regain a foothold above it, to me that suggests that we do still have that down move coming that I've spoken of. But you know, look, these things can always surprise you, and because we've got this coiling action, it could go either way. I would say that if we make a new high above around the kind of 1970, 1980 level, then we will be shooting upwards. And a break below around 1910 or 1920 tells us we're going much lower and back into this zone here, which we've spoken about lots of times. But yeah, not much to talk about this week. And again, the same with silver. Silver's actually going to and fro within this trading range here between around $26 and $28. And again, not much to say really. We just have to wait for a breakout in either direction. Here it's a little bit clearer where the lines are, and really if we're thinking about a downwards breakout, we're looking for a close below $26. It did poke below that at one point here, but then bounce back up again. If we do break down, we're looking at around the $22 level for a downwards break. And of course, an upwards break would take us up to around $32, $33. But there's not really much to signal which direction that's going to go. But for me, on balance, I would probably plump for the downwards direction for a few reasons. Let's look at the gold miners. So this is the GDX on the daily scale. And again, we'd broken this longer term trend line, but since that break, it's just kind of been moving sideways again. But we are getting this kind of squeeze in price here. And again, we just have to wait for the breakout. To me, this looks closer to a descending triangle than a symmetrical one, which can be bearish. So if we get a break below and make a new low, below around 38, I think, or 39, 38, I think that, 39, I think that is, yeah. Then I think we're looking for a drop to about 32 over here. But remember, this could just turn around over here and break out upwards, in which case we're looking at higher targets. But remember, we do have resistance over here dating back years, and so you can look at the monthly chart to see that. Again, it's interesting because the volumes are still quite low here, but that hasn't really stopped the price from moving up so far. And then we have the junior silver miners. So this is the SILJ, again on the daily scale. And this trend line seems to be kind of holding. We've poked below it a couple of times now. And again, it's just not looking particularly strong at the moment. But again, we've got a kind of triangle formation. It's a bit messy, but could be interpreted as a descending triangle. So yeah, not much going on this week, but that's just the nature of the markets. Just because of where prices are in terms of the triangles that we've been talking about, I would expect a breakout in the next week or two at the most. Anyway, let's see what happens. That's it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye.